Okay. Tonight, I'm going to be making some jambalaya. Or gumbo, whichever one doesn't have okra in it, because that's my second least favorite food. I'm browning the sausage up right now. A lot of times they call it blackened. I don't blacken anything. That's just a fancy word for saying, oops, I burnt the sausage. So we're just kind of browning these up, kind of like you do a roast, you know, before you put them in. I find some place to put this stuff. Of course, I'm so well prepared, like I am in every other video. Hold on a second. Get out a piece of the good china here. Should have about a pound. That's about a half a pound. Let's throw these in here. I kind of wedge cut them so they're a little bit bigger. Sometimes you like them a little bigger. Ooh, that's a butt. This is just Polish sausage. That is actually a Cajun seasoned sausage that I have on there. Yes, I washed the hell out of my hands before I started doing this. Because I am COVID-19 aware. So, I need to brown these things up like this, leave them in a few minutes so they start to turn brown. You don't want to cook everything out of them, but it does kind of make them less oily. So, you know, with the stuff that we're putting in here with, you don't get to see that. It's my snack. With the stuff that I'm putting in there with it, hopefully it'll take out a lot of the grease and stuff. We got some nice shrimp and stuff to go in here. About a pound or so, depending on how well you like shrimp. Also putting in some chicken, which goes in gumbo. And we'll get to that in just a little bit, a few seconds. As soon as we get the stuff here browned out, we'll put this over here. Oh, look, see, it doesn't take very long either. Especially running cast iron skillet over some moderately high flame. I don't have it cranked all the way up, because that's not something you do when you're cooking with gas or electric for that matter. It takes electric forever to shut off. Once again, I'm off on this thing where I prefer gas stove. Speaking of gas, let's take care of that. Take care of that. No seasoning whatsoever. You can tell that stuff there is a little bit orange. That's just kind of left over from the Cajun sausage that I just heated up in there. I tried a little piece of that stuff. That looks good. I'm going to eat that one. It's a little bit dark, so I'm going to eat it. It's not really super hot. Hot! Oh my god! Jesus Christ, where's the milk? Where's the milk? Got my legs are numb, it's just fucking hot. Try. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the chicken. I'm going to kind of whitening up the chicken here a little bit. I still can't quite feel my left leg. My tongue still works. So anyway, I'm using mostly Polish sausage in that now. So I'm going to brown this up. The same thing with the chicken. I got some shrimp over here hiding just off camera. And you check out who do it. Shrimp. I gave the green peppers. This is 1 bell total. I gave it kind of a head start by kind of, I wouldn't say a saute because it's still fairly firm. So I want that to boil in. So these are going to cook for about 5 or 6 minutes till they get good and done. Mostly done. Um, if you have an opportunity, man, I love these things. This is, I hesitate to say the name, but it's Faberware. An awesome knife. I love this thing. Same thing. I love them. This thing's been around so long it's dull now, but and when I put this thing in the crock pot, usually I just take a whole box. This didn't call for it in a regular gumbo recipe, but hey, I'm not a regular kind of guy. So I just took a whole box of sliced mushrooms and dropped that in with it and stirred around. Gumbo is supposed to be a little thicker. This might not come out as thick as usual. I'll show you a little trick, thicken that up later when we get to the crock pot part. Okay, you do the same thing with your shrimp. Actually, I just kind of warm the shrimp up enough to peel the tails off of them. Get those in there and pick all the tails off of them. Also have 1 to 2 pounds of shrimp because shrimp's real big in the Louisiana area. And minced garlic. I'm going to throw about a tablespoon in there. That's another reason I use minced garlic rather than, or I like using minced garlic rather than the powder, because you don't need near as much of it. This stuff is pungent. It's very good aroma, very good flavor comes out of it. Let's drop this in there just like that. Like unto that right there. Yeah. Now I'm going to cook the juice off of these. Already did those. Those are done. And we are just about ready for the crock pot, which is going to have this in it. I haven't dumped that in yet because I wanted to show off a little bit. This has got 2 tablespoons of dried oregano. Teaspoons. I've got a teaspoon of dried oregano. Teaspoon of parsley. 2 teaspoons of Cajun spices, depending on how hot you like this stuff. 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper crushed, or actually not crushed, it's just pepper. You can use crushed. It gives a little more interesting look to it. And a half teaspoon of thyme because, you know, we don't have a lot of time. And of course the shrimp. So like I say, I'm going to simmer this a little bit, cook it down some. I did not put a tablespoon of garlic in all of the shrimp that I did, just this one. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm going to cook this down a little bit, make sure the garlic gets dry, kind of roast it a little bit, and then I'll bring out the crock pot and we'll throw all this stuff together. There's the chicken that I just did. The spices I'm going to toss in there right now so it kind of steeps a little bit. Remember, we keep talking like your spices need to be treated a lot like tea. Let it steep into the juice a little bit so it gets in through all the flavor of the spices, get in with the meat. The last time we made this, we left it in the crock pot overnight. I wouldn't recommend it. Everything kind of blends in and tastes, you don't get a lot of individual flavors from your ingredients. It was still good. I had about 3 or 4 bowls of it before I quit. You can do your rice a couple of different ways. You can do it separate and put it over a bed, which is what I like to do. Or you can dump it in and make it with it and just make a big old pot of whatever and dip it out and put it in there and get some Italian bread. Oh man, this is going to be really good. This stuff is driving me nuts just having to smell it here. Wish I had a scratch and sniff camera so you guys could get this. I tried something a little bit different with the mic. I hope this comes out a lot clearer. Hope you guys can hear me and understand me. Most people can't understand me when I talk normal anyway, but at least we'll cut down a little on the background noise. Like I said, I did the peppers, gave them a little bit of a head start. I'm going to go ahead and put those in the crock pot. with the chicken broth that's in there, I used 2 cups. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to thicken that up a little bit. My little trick with it. It keeps me away from mixing up a lot of flour or trying to make a thickening sauce like my mom used to make. It doesn't take anything away from it, but it does kind of bland it out a little. So I'm going to show you a different little trick that I use, that I found down along the road somewhere, that I use a lot. So once again, camera's going to break. Be right back. And poof, it turned into a crock pot. A cast iron skillet is so versatile. This stuff, oh, I had this over here cooking off camera while I was doing all this other stuff here. You'd believe the aroma coming off of this stuff. This is incredibly good. I just salivate the odor of this. And of course this just fills the whole house. Now, first thing I'm going to do is put all the shrimp in here. Get the little speckles of garlic out of there. The chicken. I think gumbo is actually a Cajun word for gob of stuff in a crock pot. Almost got away. Yeah, I'm not going to pop any of that stuff in my mouth. That stuff on the bottom is still the Cajun, which should mellow out when this gets done. When this is done, I throw, like I said, that flat of mushrooms in there. Sweet. Rinsed already. Oop, won't get away. Okay, the first thing comes to mind here. Stir this stuff up. Oh my God. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. And like any other recipe, you can cut this. The humanity! No! And cut this down to half. A recipe, just put a half-pound piece in. Those are actually weighed and measured. It's a pound or 2 of shrimp, depending on how much you like shrimp. We love shrimp. A pound of sausage. It's a little black over. It's a little burnt fella. You can use Polish, or depending on if you like the heat, you can use the Cajun sausage. It's fine. And 1 tub of mushrooms and a pound of chicken breast. So it comes out to about 5 breast tenders. You just slice them up, toss them in. That covers just about all the meat. I gave you the spices a little while ago. Like I say, if this comes out too thin for you, here's the trick. When I find it. I use instant mashed potatoes. Thickens this stuff up really well. It doesn't take anything away from the flavor. You know, it's not a flour blandness paste taste. Sorry, I had to move the camera a little bit. And I got the roasted garlic stuff because why? Why? Huh? Come on. One, two, everybody, all together. I like garlic. So you throw some of this stuff in there. I'm not going to do that right now, because I don't think I don't think it's gonna be very thin when we do it. One of the things you don't have to do this when you put the rice in here which I would use about 2 cups of dried rice before cooked, and put all that around in there and stir it up, and you can do it that way. I like to put it over a bed rice on your plate. That way you don't, you get the rice you want. Kind of single it out. All these other pans and stuff sitting over here on the skillet, on the stove, the skillet and the cast iron pot, the wok, the little pan back there, this stuff that a friend of mine at work, back when we were making the Alfredo, made some, and he and his wife were talking about going to the store and always buying an Alfredo sauce. They're trying different brands, different stuff, different stores, different restaurants, even trying to find an Alfredo sauce that they really liked. And believe it or not, they got it from a small subsidiary restaurant, which is, he said, was okay. It wasn't the best, wasn't quite the flavor he was looking for. One of the really nice restaurants, he said, were super bland and just thin and didn't have hardly any cheese taste to it whatsoever. So I took the leftover, which is about a half pint, one of those really short sealed plastic brown containers that you get out of the deli. Filled one of those up and I took it over to him, gave it to him at work, and he took the thing home about 2 or 3 months ago. We were getting some stuff and he was getting some Alfredo, and he actually went to one of the bigger name brand things because as a gift for doing this guy a favor at work, one of the drivers gave me a $50 gift card to this particular restaurant. And so I was afraid it was going to expire. And since COVID, they're starting to open up stores that don't have drive-throughs in their restaurants. I flipped it out and I said, "Here, let's eat $50 worth of food. Just blow this whole thing. If we got to feed everybody in the shop, feed everybody in the shop. I don't care." We didn't have that many people in the shop, maybe 3 or 4 guys. And so we got that, and he was complaining about the Alfredo. And I asked him, I said, "Why aren't you, because I know you love Alfredo, how come you didn't get the fettuccine and the Alfredo sauce?" And he said, "Well," he said, to be honest with you, I'm kind of upset about that." I said, "Really? What the hell happened?" He said, "Well," he said, "we were looking," he said, "in that little half a pint stuff that you gave us, I can't hardly stand to eat anything else." He said, "Yours was so good." That he said, and I hate cooking, so I'm gonna make him up some of this other stuff, the Alfredo sauce, and that was one of the highest compliments that I've ever been paid on my cooking. I can't eat anything else but what you made, so I'm going to make him up a bunch of that, take it into work. I will get this done and put it over the bed of rice and give you a nice little show at the end of this video as to what it's supposed to look like when it's finished. And this will be in the crock pot only for about half hour, 45 minutes. And then we're gonna throw it over a bed of rice, get some French bread loaf, and eat with this. And this is gonna be so delicious. It was really good the last time, and it was super overcooked. So this is going to be properly cooked, and it will. Oh, it's going to be heaven. So here we are. Oh my God, it's ready. Check this out. Check it out. That over there off camera where nobody sees what I do with it. Oh my gosh. No, that cough wasn't from smelling this. Cough was from something else entirely. Ooh, look at that. Just big old fat mushrooms in it. All that brown sausage. Shrimp. Ooh, check. So, as I was saying, Um, diced tomatoes or whole tomatoes or just something stewed with no skins on it. About a cup each of everything that goes in here, with the exception of the chicken broth. I used a whole container, of which I can't find now, so I threw it away. Good person that I am. That's the difference. Some guy was kind of making fun of me at work the other day and said, that's just him trying to be a chef, and I am nowhere near a chef. I'm a good cook. Number one, I do my own dishes. Two, I don't belittle anybody else for their food creations or recipes. Uh, any food recipe, if you're creative, if you love it, do it. Do what you love. I love to cook. I love to eat. I'm gonna die a fat guy. So, anyway, next time I'm gonna go after and tackle uh, Manhattan clam chowder. A perfect friend of mine who used to love that stuff. It used to come in a can. I'm going to tackle it and make it fresh and make it just for her. I'll mention her name in the video the next time. And until the next time, see ya!